Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC 244, Masvidal versus Diaz. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. So in our first fight, we have in the lightweight division, Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie. So looking at this fight, this is a pretty interesting fight right here. You got two high-level wrestlers. You got an NCAA champion in Gillespie, and you got a world beater in Kevin Lee, who's been looking like a phenom in some of these fights, but other times he looking like a disappointment in some other fights. But yeah, I see this fight. I see Kevin Lee as the bigger fighter. I see him as the stronger fighter, the more experienced fighter, and the more talented fighter. But I feel like Gillespie has the more, not the more, but he has the key factors on his side, in my opinion. In a battle between wrestlers, I think Gillespie is just as much of a talented wrestler as Kevin Lee, if not, well, I'm not even going to say more, but just they're both talented wrestlers. But I feel like Gillespie has a key advantage in that he's a wrestler that can grind. He has that grind in him. He has that grit in him, and he could constantly wrestle. He has that wrestling cardio, the better wrestling cardio, and he could push a pace nonstop. Whereas Kevin Lee, if he's met with adversity, his wrestling cardio starts to dip, his confidence starts to dip, and he starts to kind of open up to be hit, to get his takedowns defended. His cardio starts to fade, mouth starts to open up. Whereas we haven't really seen that from Gillespie. Like every single time he goes out there, he's just nonstop wrestling the whole time, shot after shot after shot, transition after transition. I'm saying he's not as talented as Kevin Lee is, or maybe it's because he's not experienced, he's still developing. But what Gillespie has is that he can keep going, he can keep that going regardless of what his opponent does. And Kevin Lee hasn't shown that ability just yet. He's only been able to do that against people that kind of get shut down by his wrestling, his pressure. As soon as they get taken down by him, start get up underneath him, they don't know how to get up from under him. But you can defend his shot or get up from under him, he looks like a lost puppy. So basically with this one, I feel like Kevin Lee could be strong early in the wrestling and his striking and his overall game. But I feel like Gillespie's grit and his cardio and his wrestling pace and pressure is going to slowly start to break Kevin Lee down. And then like in that second and third round, I think he's going to be able to start, edging that gap, out volume, striking Lee, maybe start securing some takedowns or at least threatening with those takedowns, which can factor in pushing Kevin Lee back or at least throwing Kevin Lee off, which will all push, continue that momentum that Gillespie will have as the fight starts to go on. In a 5-round fight would be an easier pick for Gillespie, but a 3-round kind of makes it closer. But I feel like Gillespie's volume and his wrestling pace is going to be the tell of this fight. So in this fight, I have Gregor Gillespie via decision. Now on to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Derek Lewis versus Blagoy Ivanov. So looking at this fight, you got Blagoy Ivanov, former World Series of Fighting heavyweight champion, solid striking, solid power, underused grappling. You got Derek Lewis, very awkward, sneakily technical with his striking, powerful, explosive. Don't want to get hit by this guy. So look at this fight. When I look at Blagoy Ivanov, he has all this talent, all this and that, but he's a flat-footed striker. He has a solid chin, but he doesn't have no real head movement, no real foot movement, flat-footed, and he's going against Derek Lewis. So despite this grappling he has and this and that, I don't think he really uses it that well. I mean, he doesn't use it that much. And Derek Lewis's grappling defense is surprisingly decent enough. I think if Blagoy Ivanov takes him down, it might work against him, because you've seen in plenty of fights where Derek Lewis gets taken down and laid on the whole fight. And in that last minute, when his opponent starts to get lax, thinking they're about to make it to a bell, he catches them. So it could work against Blagoy Ivanov. But I feel in this one, I don't think there's going to be too much takedown going on in this fight. If it does, it's not going to be much of note. I think it's really going to come down to Blagoy Ivanov not really having too much foot movement, not really having no real head movement, and really just relying on his chin a lot of times. He has a solid chin, but you can't rely on your chin when you're going against a guy who hits as hard as Derek Lewis, who is explosive as Derek Lewis. You leave your chin out there, Derek Lewis will catch you. And Blagoy Ivanov, he leaves his chin out there, and he's flat-footed. Doesn't really move his head too much. And I think with his head being right there too much in the fight, Derek Lewis will catch him, because it's not going to be moving. It's going to be right there. So he's going to see it. He's going to find that range, and eventually he's going to tag him. It might be competitive up in that point, and you might think, oh, this fight's pretty close. I don't see where this knockout coming from. But Derek Lewis is going to be looking for that knockout. And then when you least expect it, you get lax and think it's an okay fight. You think it's a back and forth. You're going to think it's, you get caught in that rhythm. Like you think everything's going to go to decisions, going to follow that route. Then Derek Lewis a lot of times find that momentum when people get caught in their tendency, caught in the pattern, thinking like this is just how the fight going to go. And they get lax and he catches them. I see that kind of happening in this fight, and I see it happening in the second round. So in this fight, I got Derek Lewis via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, Stephen Thompson versus Vicente Luque. So looking at this fight, Vicente Luque is on like a 7-fight winning streak. Stephen Thompson come off a knockout loss to Pettis, but I don't think their past fights really matter too much in this fight. It certainly helped Luque that he has confidence, But I think what comes down more in this fight is a styles fight. Vicente Luque has a crazy offense, but his defense is lacking. His foot movement kind of lacking, but he does got crazy offense. But I feel with Stephen Thompson, he's too fast for Luque, and Luque's defense is lacking. He gets hit by pretty much everybody. You can see him get his bell ring in just about every fight, but he recovers well. He goes back on offense. He has some good grappling as well. But I feel like his takedown offense is good enough to take Stephen Thompson down, and I feel like his striking defense is too open, and Stephen Thompson is too fast, too fleet-footed. He could dance around him, tag him. If like even these little not entry level, but like these kind of middle of the pack level fighters can touch Luque in these fights, imagine what Stephen Thompson could do with all the speed and all the technical striking skills he has. He probably catch him hooks around the guard because he's not defending around. He kind of opened down the split. He's really open a lot of areas. He's kind of open when he's kind of trying to set up stuff. When he does elbows or something, he comes short on those. He's open a lot of different areas, and he stands upright. So if Stephen Thompson's mobile, picking his shots, stepping side kicks, coming in with little blitzes, and exiting out on the side, exiting out on the angle, I don't see Vicente Luque really having too much success. He can try with low kicks, but like I said, his defense is lacking. So if he tries to attack low on the legs, Stephen Thompson can hit him straight down the pipe. Because even when he's not doing those kicks, he's kind of open down the pipe. Like he has his hands up, but he still be open. Like he's kind of doing his best to kind of minimize the damage he could take, but he's still open for a lot of shots. And I see Stephen Thompson made really kind of finding his shots in and around the guard, like through in around the guard or to the body, especially to the body, because he kind of has his hands up the whole time. He doesn't really defend the body too much. Maybe catch a couple kicks, but a kick straight, like a stepping side kick to the body, he's had no real defense to that. So I feel like I said, Stephen Thompson's going to take advantage of his openings, land a lot of volume, be mobile, and just pick Vicente Luque, or not, will pile up the volume on Luque and make himself a hard target and pretty much beat him in kind of a point striking type of fight. So in this fight, I got Stephen Thompson via decision. Now to our next fight we have in our co-main event in the middleweight division, Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. So again, Kelvin Gastelum, I said Kevin. But yeah, look at this fight. You got Till coming off 2 losses, got dropped by Willie and submitted. Then he got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. You got Kelvin Gastelum coming off of fight of the year contender, or was it the fight of the year? I don't know, was it this year or was it last year? But that was certainly a fight of the year contender in any year it would be put in. Against Israel Adesanya. It was a competitive fight up until that 5th round where he got dropped 3 times. And over the course of the fight, he got dropped 4 times. And he got dropped once in the 2nd round. Then that 5th round, in under 2 minutes, he got dropped 3 times. It was 3 times in that 1 round in under 2 minutes, close to being finished. So that's a good, interesting point in this fight right here. So Kevin Gastelum, I see him as a talented fighter. He's a good fighter and all that, but he's not all that great technical fighter. You want to say, oh, this guy is the guy you want to follow. Because Kevin Gastelum, he uses his chin as a crutch a lot of times, and that's something you never really want to do if you're a technical fighter. You don't want to be no fighter just out there eating shots to give a shot or relying on your chin. And Kevin Gastelum does it often in fights. If you start getting tired, he'll just put all his energy to striking and or offense and not really defend, or use his chin as a defense. He'll take a big shot on his chin to give you one back, or just take it maybe to defend a takedown. He'll oftentimes use that chin or rely on his chin too much. And coming off a fight where you got dropped 4 times by a guy who's not necessarily a power striker or a power puncher or a heavy hand fighter, you got dropped 4 times by them. Yes, the shots were sharp and sneaky and this and that, but he still got dropped 4 times. You can see that his chin isn't this mystical being, but it's not this mystical element revolving him. Like it's not a mystical element for him no more. You can see you've seen him got hurt several times coming off this loss just now. So it's definitely be an opportunity somebody's gonna be looking for. They're not gonna be maybe not respecting the chin as much anymore, or at least they're gonna see what dropped him, how he got dropped, how he reacted. It's gonna be there. It's not like I say we see a guy that never got dropped before or eat punches all the time and they okay with it. You kind of respect it a little bit more. Once you see the guy get dropped 4 times, it's definitely start to be a thing people gonna look for, because they no longer respecting it as much. So that's the thing. And that damage is like damage doesn't just go away after one fight. That stuff follows you throughout your career. So getting dropped 4 times and coming off that, even you've been out for a minute, it's going to be factoring in the fight. And going against Darren Till, a guy who's coming up freshly from the welterweight division, I give him the speed advantage a little bit, or at least maybe the feel of the speed a little bit better, because you're dealing with faster fighters at a lower weight class. Now you're coming up. So the fight's going to be a little bit slower for you. The fight's going to be, he's going to be seeding a little bit better at this weight class because he's coming up. He's probably going to carry more power because he's not cutting no more. And he's already one of the better strikers in the sport at the moment anyway. So with Kevin Gastelum leaving that chin out there a lot of times and relying on the strength of his chin a lot of times, I can definitely see Darren Till cracking him or catching him, or be one of those fights where he just come up, you think it's a bad fight, and he come up and his whole career changed just by catching Gastelum, and they say, oh my gosh, he beat him better than Israel Adesanya beat him. But it really is just because it could be a style make fights, opportunities and the chances, and it could be the perfect time for Darren Till to fight Gastelum. But all that being said, I'm still going to lean to Gastelum. I see him as they both got cracked in their last couple fights, so it's not like Darren Till's chin just has been looked so granite all the time because he's been dropped these last 2 fights, knocked out his last fight. So they both coming off fight where they've been hurt, and Till actually been put all the way to sleep. What I see with Gastelum, he's gonna be forward pressuring, heavy, and he said he was sick in that Israel Adesanya fight and injured and all that. So I'm gonna let him say that excuse. I'm saying he's gonna come out there, be aggressive, be in Till's face, smother him, and also between the two, I think Till only has one power hand. His other hand is kind of like a setup hand. He only has one power. I don't know if it's the left or the right. I'm not even gonna look into it, but I really is. He only got one real power hand, one power shot hand. It's Woodley pointing out before the fight. I feel like Gastelum's gonna be able to smother him, really block off that one hand, come over the top with hooks, and really be in his face and not really allow Till to breathe much. And with a 3-round fight, Gastelum's gonna be able to put even more pressure on Till. And between the two, Gastelum is a much more well-rounded fighter. His takedown offense isn't all that great. And Till's takedown defense is pretty solid. But if he can get him to the ground, whether it be through a punch or maybe through just a well-timed takedown, I can see him having good control on Till on the ground. Till makes a lot of grappling mistakes on the ground. Like I said, his grappling isn't all that. So Gastelum certainly has more paths to victory than Till. But yeah, I just think the volume and the forward pressure of Gastelum, he's going to be hungry. He's going to spend in, what's his name? Saying Adesanya became champion now. And he's going to come in real sharp, be pressuring heavy, and never really giving Till that much space to really land his big shots or really get his shot off and really cut off his main weapons and mix it up on Till. And I actually think he eventually breaks him down and stops him late in the 3rd round. So in this fight, I got Kelvin Gastelum via 3rd round TKO. Now to our main event we have in the welterweight division, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz for the BMF belt. So looking at this fight, I'm going to kind of get to the point. It's like no backstory needed about this and that, about their whole careers. How I see this fight is Jorge Masvidal is the more dynamic striker. He has more, not more tools, but more variety to his ways of, creating chaos, you could say. Like you saw, he hit Darren Till with that Woodley combo, knocked him out. You can see him hit a spinning back kick, see him hit jump kicks, hit jumping switch kick, do all this other type of crazy stuff he wants to. Like you wouldn't even see, it wouldn't be unexpected, or at least it wouldn't be out of the, something not out of his textbook. Like Masvidal has a lot of tools. He's the more, like I said, more dynamic striker, more this, more that, probably more power, maybe more tools, or uses more tools in the fight. Whereas Nate Diaz, you kind of know exactly what he's going to do every single fight. He's going to be in your face a little bit. He's going to pressure. He's going to do that 1-2, throw some hooks. He's going to slap you. He's going to throw middle fingers and be in your face the whole time. And if you cave to his striking and try to go for a takedown, he's going to submit you. Or if you just give up a net, he's going to submit you. Or if you give him an opportunity, he's going to submit you. But basically, forward pressure, relentless pace, or constant pace, just constantly outworking you and pressure you until you submit or just get outpointed. And he's going to be in your face the whole time. You're not going to see him fight on the outside. Jorge Masvidal, he could be the pressuring fighter. He could be the outside fighter. He could do a lot of different things. He could go out there and wrestle you if he wants to. Whereas Nate Diaz, his style is pretty much be the same thing. He's really not going to be the guy that takes you down necessarily too much. He might do an average 1 takedown a fight, if even. More so, he's going to be out there boxing you in your face, smothering you, trying to get his nose to your nose and just beat your body up and just wear you down until you have no cardio reserve left. And he just puts you out of there or makes you either fall down and submit you. But this fight being a 5-round fight, I think that's a key factor in this fight. Jorge Masvidal is more dynamic. I think he can definitely push a 5-round pace. But who does that favor more? It favors Diaz, who's a fighter, who's a cardio fighter, who always fights kind of that same pace, and he can maintain that through 5 rounds. Yes, Masvidal has good cardio and this and that, but is it as good as Diaz? No. And does that style favor the style and the length of this fight favor Diaz? It does. And I feel like Masvidal always kind of said that he doesn't win decisions, so that doesn't favor him well if the fight goes to decision. And Diaz is going to get stronger as the fight goes into those 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. And if he could just win those 3, then he already wins the fight. I feel like, and Masvidal said in this fight that he's not going out there to go to decision because he don't win those. So he's going to go there looking for a finish. And Diaz is not a fighter that really gets finished often. I think he's been finished once or twice in his whole career. So he doesn't get finished very often. So the likelihood of him getting finished is not really all that likely. And going 5 rounds, that's going to favor Diaz. I feel like Masvidal could be strong early. He's going to try to look for a knockout. And nothing about it. Let me get in one other thing. And as dynamic as Masvidal is, it's not like Diaz has not fought dynamic strikers. He fought Conor McGregor, beat him, lost him the second time, but he still beat him the first time. Second fight, lost, but still was competitive. He had his moments. Maybe the fight was 5 more rounds, he would have definitely won. Anthony Pettis just fought a dynamic striker, and he really didn't make Pettis look all that dynamic, and that made Pettis not look all that dynamic in that fight. As dynamic as Pettis is, he made Pettis look kind of average at times in that fight. So yeah, so Diaz, he's kind of predictable in a way, he's very good at what he does, and I feel like he's already tough, so the likelihood of him getting finished is not very likely. It's not like Masvidal going to necessarily submit him or he has a chance to knock him out. Like I said, he's dynamic. He can maybe catch him early, first or second round. But the fight goes into those third, fourth, and fifth rounds. I feel like they're going to favor Diaz heavily. I don't really think he gets hurt too much necessarily in this fight anyway, or like nothing crazy happens to him. I think that he hasn't seen before. If he gets hurt or to drop, he's going to go back to his guard. I don't think Masvidal's going to go down there and submit him or really do much damage, because Diaz is very good at recovering his guard and getting back to a real good defensive position. I think he pretty much gets back up, keeps pressuring, and stays in, and pretty much be a mummy this whole fight for Masvidal, start to smother him and wear him down as the fight goes on. And then his fight gets into those third, fourth, fifth rounds. He's going to be, that range going to get smaller and smaller. That cage going to get smaller and smaller for Masvidal. And Diaz is going to be working the body, working the head, maybe in a clinch like he did against Pettis, land some little dirty boxing shots here, some knees to the body, and just wear on Masvidal. And I think he just beats him to decision in this one. I think it's going to be one of those fights where it's going to be fun for the fans. It's going to be it's going to eventually start to play into a Diaz style of fighting in this 5-round fight, where is that those legs start to go away from you in the late, like the rounds go on and the cage gets smaller. It's going to favor Diaz, and I think Diaz, like I said, smothers him, makes his cage very small, and just outvalues him, and fights a Diaz style fight in those last 3 rounds and beats him on a decision. So in this fight, I got Nate Diaz via decision, and that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC 244, Masvidal versus Diaz. And as always, thanks for watching.